Every Thursday morning at exactly 7:30, the sound of rumbling engines would wake up the entire Oak Valley neighborhood. Most people would groan and pull their pillows over their heads, annoyed by the early disturbance. But for 7-year-old Lily Chen, this sound was better than Christmas morning. She would jump out of her small bed, her bare feet hitting the cold wooden floor with excitement. Racing to the living room window, she would press her tiny hands and nose against the glass, creating little fog marks with her breath. Her dark eyes would scan the empty street, waiting for that familiar big blue truck to turn the corner. Lily's mother, Anna, had noticed this strange ritual months ago. At first, she thought her daughter was just curious about the large vehicle. After all, what child doesn't love big trucks? But as weeks passed, Anna realized there was something deeper happening here. Her normally shy daughter, who could barely speak to strangers at the grocery store, had developed a genuine friendship with someone she had never officially met. The garbage collector was a man in his early 60s named Tom Wilson. He had been working this route for over 15 years, long before the Chen family moved to Oak Valley. Tom had salt and pepper hair that stuck out from under his worn baseball cap, and hands that told stories of decades of hard work. His face was weathered from years of working outdoors, but his eyes held a warmth that made children feel safe. Tom had first noticed the little girl about 6 months ago. She was different from other kids in the neighborhood. While most children either ignored him completely or stared from a distance, this little one would wave enthusiastically every single week. Her smile was so genuine and bright that it could light up even the gloomiest Thursday morning. The friendship started simply enough. Tom would wave back at the little girl in the window. Then one morning he decided to honk his horn just once when he saw her watching. The joy on her face was so pure that it made his entire day better. From that moment on, the Thursday morning horn honk became their special tradition. As autumn turned to winter, their silent friendship deepened. Tom began to notice small details about the little girl's life. Some mornings she would hold up her drawings to the window, showing him her latest artwork. He couldn't see the details from the street, but he would give her a big thumbs up, which always made her dance around with happiness. One particularly cold December morning, Tom noticed the little girl wasn't at her usual spot by the window. He felt genuinely worried. Had something happened to her? Was she sick? He found himself thinking about her throughout his entire route that day. The next week, she was back, wearing a bright red winter coat and mittens, waving more enthusiastically than ever. Tom realized in that moment that this little girl had become an important part of his weekly routine. The breakthrough in their friendship came in January. Anna had decided to walk Lily to the school bus stop, which was right at the corner where Tom usually collected their garbage. When they reached the corner, Lily tugged on her mother's coat sleeve. "Mama, that's my friend Tom," she whispered, pointing to the garbage collector who was loading bins into his truck. Anna was surprised. She had no idea her daughter knew the man's name or considered him a friend. But when she saw how Tom's entire face lit up when he noticed Lily, she understood that this wasn't just a child's imagination. This was a real friendship. "Good morning, Tom," Anna said with a warm smile. "I'm Lily's mother, Anna. She talks about you all the time." Tom stopped what he was doing and walked over to them, removing his work gloves. "Well, hello there, Lily. And nice to finally meet you, Mrs. Chen. This little lady here is the best part of my Thursday mornings." From that day forward, their brief conversations became a weekly tradition. Tom would ask Lily about school, and she would tell him about her favorite subjects. She loved art class, and always had stories about the pictures she was drawing. Tom would share simple stories about the interesting things he found on his route, not garbage, but the occasional lost toy he would return to families or the stray cats he would make sure had food. Lily learned that Tom had grandchildren who lived far away, in another state. He showed her pictures from his wallet, 2 boys about her, age who he only got to see during holidays. In return, Lily would bring her school photos to show him, and sometimes her latest art projects. Their friendship taught Lily important lessons about kindness and seeing people for who they really are, not just what job they do. She learned that Tom knew more about their neighborhood than almost anyone else. He knew which families had new babies, who was moving away, and which houses had elderly people who might need an extra check to make sure they were okay. Tom, on the other hand, found that Lily brought joy back into his work. After years of feeling invisible to most people, having someone genuinely excited to see him each week reminded him that his work mattered. He wasn't just collecting garbage. He was helping keep the community clean and safe. As winter melted into spring, their friendship continued to grow. Lily started leaving small drawings for Tom, tucked under the edge of their garbage bin where he would find them. Simple pictures of trucks, flowers, and stick figures that always included a tall man with a baseball cap and a little girl waving. Tom kept every single drawing in a special folder in his truck. The other garbage collectors on Tom's crew began to notice the change in him. He was happier, more energetic, and often talked about his little friend Lily during their lunch breaks. Some of them thought it was sweet, while others didn't quite understand how a grown man could become so attached to a child he barely knew. But Tom understood something that others might miss. In a world that often felt rushed and impersonal, where people barely looked up from their phones to acknowledge each other, Lily represented something pure and beautiful. She saw him as a person, not just as someone who picked up trash. She valued their friendship not because of what he could give her, but simply because she enjoyed his company. By the time spring arrived, Tom found himself looking forward to Thursdays more than any other day of the week. He would sometimes take extra care with his appearance, making sure his uniform was clean and his truck was tidy, because he knew Lily would be watching from her window. Their friendship had become the highlight of both their weeks, a small but significant connection that proved how powerful simple human kindness could be. Neither of them knew that this special bond they had built over months of Thursday mornings was about to lead to something even more wonderful than either could have imagined. March brought warmer weather to Oak Valley, and with it came Lily's growing excitement about her upcoming 8th birthday. She'd been talking about it for weeks, making lists and changing her mind about party themes almost daily. One day she wanted a princess party, the next day it was dinosaurs, and by the weekend she had decided on a rainbow theme. Anna watched her daughter's enthusiasm with a mixture of joy and gentle concern. The Chen family had moved to Oak Valley just over a year ago, when Anna got a new job at the local hospital as a nurse. They were still building connections in their new community, and Lily's friend circle was smaller than Anna would have liked. But Lily didn't seem to mind. She was content with her close friendship with her classmate Maya, and of course her weekly visits with Tom. "Mama, can we have my party in the backyard?" Lily asked one evening while they were having dinner. "I want to have balloons, and maybe we can set up a table outside like we did last summer." Anna smiled at her daughter's simple wishes. "That sounds perfect, sweetheart. Who would you like to invite?" Lily counted on her small fingers. "Maya from school, and maybe Jessica if her mom says it's okay." "Oh, and Mrs. Peterson from next door, because she's always nice to me, and..." She paused, her eyes lighting up with an idea that made Anna nervous. "And Tom?" "Tom?" Anna repeated, though she already knew which Tom her daughter meant. "Yes, Tom the garbage truck man. He's my best friend, Mama. I want him to come to my party too." Anna felt her heart squeeze with both love and worry. She didn't want to hurt her daughter's feelings, but she also didn't want Lily to be disappointed. "Honey, Tom is a very nice man, but he's also very busy with his work. Grown-ups sometimes can't come to parties because they have to work." But Lily had already made up her mind. "I want to ask him anyway. Maybe he's not busy on Saturday. Please, Mama, can I make him an invitation?" Anna looked at her daughter's hopeful face and couldn't bring herself to say no. "Okay, sweetie, you can make him an invitation. But remember, if he can't come, it doesn't mean he doesn't care about you. Sometimes adults have responsibilities that keep them from doing things they want to do." The next few days were filled with intense artistic activity. Lily spent hours at the kitchen table, surrounded by crayons, markers, construction paper, and glue sticks. She was determined to make the most beautiful invitation Tom had ever seen. Anna watched from the kitchen as her daughter carefully drew a large garbage truck on the front of a folded piece of bright yellow paper. The truck was Unmistakably Tom's, complete with blue paint and the city logo that Lily had memorized from watching it every Thursday. Next to the truck, she drew a stick figure with a baseball cap, surrounded by rainbow colors and smiling flowers. Inside the invitation, Lily wrote in her careful second-grade handwriting, "Dear Tom, you are invited to my birthday party. It is on Saturday at 2 o'clock at my house. We will have cake and games and it will be fun. I hope you can come because you are my friend. Love, Lily." She decorated the inside with more drawings, a birthday cake with 8 candles, balloons floating in the air, and stick figures holding hands. At the bottom, she drew a small heart and wrote, "Best friends forever" in purple crayon. Anna helped her daughter put the invitation in an envelope, and Lily carefully wrote, "Tom Wilson," on the front in her best handwriting. She even drew a small garbage truck on the envelope's corner. Thursday morning couldn't come fast enough for Lily. She woke up extra early, brushing her teeth and combing her hair with unusual care. She wanted to look nice when she gave Tom his invitation. Anna had agreed to walk with her to the corner so Lily could personally deliver the invitation. As they waited by the garbage bins, Lily clutched the envelope tightly in her small hands. Her heart was beating fast with nervous excitement. What if Tom didn't want to come? What if he thought it was silly? What if he was too busy? When Tom's truck turned the corner, Lily's nervousness mixed with excitement. She waved enthusiastically, and Tom honked his horn as usual. But this morning was different. As Tom got out of his truck to collect their bins, Anna gently nudged Lily forward. "Go ahead, sweetheart, give him the invitation." Lily walked slowly toward Tom, suddenly feeling shy. Tom noticed her careful approach and knelt down to her eye level, sensing that something important was happening. "Good morning, Lily. You look very serious today. Is everything okay?" Lily took a deep breath and held out the envelope. "Tom, I made this for you. It's an invitation to my birthday party. I really, really hope you can come." Tom accepted the envelope with gentle hands, treating it like it was made of the most precious material in the world. "An invitation for me? Lily, this is wonderful. Can I open it right now?" Lily nodded eagerly, watching Tom's face as he carefully opened the envelope. Anna stood nearby, also watching this tender moment unfold. As Tom read the invitation, his expression softened even more. He looked at every drawing, taking time to appreciate each colorful detail. "Lily, this is the most beautiful invitation I've ever received. You drew my truck perfectly, and look at all these lovely colors. Do you like the rainbow theme?" Lily asked hopefully. "I changed my mind from dinosaurs to rainbows because rainbows are happy, and I want my party to be really happy." "Rainbows are perfect," Tom said with a warm smile, "and I'm very honored that you want me at your party. When is it?" "This Saturday at 2 o'clock. We're having it in my backyard, and Mama's making chocolate cake because that's my favorite." Tom's smile faltered slightly, and Anna could see the conflict in his eyes. She knew that garbage collectors often worked on Saturdays, especially if they had fallen behind during the week or had special pickup routes. "Lily," Tom said carefully, "I would love nothing more than to come to your birthday party. You're one of my very best friends. But I need to check my work schedule first. Sometimes I have to work on Saturdays. If I can come, I absolutely will. If I can't, it won't be because I don't want to. It will only be because I have to work. Do you understand?" Lily nodded, though Anna could see a flicker of worry cross her daughter's face. "I understand, Tom. But I really hope you don't have to work." "I hope so too, sweetheart. I'm going to do everything I can to be there. And Lily, thank you for thinking of me. This invitation means more to me than you know." Tom carefully folded the invitation and put it in his shirt pocket right over his heart. "I'm going to keep this safe and show it to all my friends at work. They're going to be so impressed with your artwork." As Tom finished collecting their garbage and prepared to move on to the next house, he turned back to Lily. "Whether or not I can make it to your party, I want you to have the most wonderful birthday. You deserve all the happiness in the world." Lily beamed at his words, and Anna felt grateful for this kind man who had brought such joy into her daughter's life. As they watched Tom drive away, Lily waved until his truck disappeared around the corner. For the rest of the week, Lily talked constantly about her upcoming party and whether Tom would be able to come. She made backup plans in case he couldn't attend, but Anna could tell that having Tom there had become the most important part of the celebration for her daughter. The invitation had been delivered, and now all they could do was wait and hope that Tom's work schedule would allow him to join them for Lily's special day. Saturday morning arrived with the kind of perfect spring weather that made everything feel possible. The sun was shining brightly, a gentle breeze was blowing through the trees, and there wasn't a single cloud in the clear blue sky. It was exactly the kind of day Lily had been hoping for when she planned her outdoor birthday party. Lily woke up earlier than usual, her stomach fluttering with excitement and nerves. Today was her 8th birthday, and she had been looking forward to this day for weeks. But more than the presents or the cake, she was hoping that Tom would be able to keep his promise and come to her party. Anna had been up since 6 in the morning, quietly preparing everything in the backyard while Lily slept. She hung colorful streamers between the trees, attached rainbow balloons to the fence, and set up a small table with a bright tablecloth. In the center of the table, she placed the chocolate birthday cake she had baked the night before, decorated with rainbow, frosting, and 8 cheerful candles. But the most important detail was the extra chair Anna had placed at the table. It was positioned right next to where Lily would sit, and it had a small place card that read Tom in Lily's careful handwriting. Anna had hesitated when Lily insisted on setting a place for Tom, knowing how disappointed her daughter would be if he couldn't make it. But she also understood how much this friendship meant to Lily. When Lily finally came downstairs for breakfast, she immediately ran to the window to look for Tom's truck. Even though it was Saturday and Tom didn't usually work their route on weekends, she couldn't help but hope she might catch a glimpse of him driving by. "Mama, do you think Tom will remember about my party?" Lily asked as she picked at her toast. "I'm sure he remembers, sweetheart," Anna replied gently. "Tom cares about you very much. If he can come, he will. If he can't, it's only because he has to work." Anna had actually called the city's sanitation department on Friday, hoping to find out if Tom was scheduled to work on Saturday. But the person who answered the phone said they couldn't give out employee schedule information to people who weren't family members. Anna understood the policy, but it left her feeling helpless as she watched her daughter's hopeful anticipation. By noon, the first guests began to arrive. Maya, Lily's best friend from school, came with her mother and a beautifully wrapped present. Maya's eyes lit up when she saw the backyard decorations and the rainbow theme that Lily had chosen. "This is so pretty, Lily," Maya exclaimed. "I love all the colors." Next came Jessica, another classmate, followed by Mrs. Peterson from next door. Mrs. Peterson was a sweet elderly woman who had always been kind to Lily, often complimenting her drawings when she saw them hanging on the refrigerator through the kitchen window. As the small group gathered in the backyard, Anna couldn't help but notice how Lily kept glancing toward the street, watching for any sign of Tom's arrival. Every time a car drove by, Lily would look up hopefully, only to have her face fall slightly when it wasn't Tom. The party activities began with simple games that Anna had planned. They played musical chairs, had a treasure hunt in the garden, and did a craft activity where everyone decorated their own rainbow bookmarks. Lily participated enthusiastically, but Anna could see that part of her daughter's attention was always on that empty chair at the table. At 1:30, Anna suggested they take a break and have some snacks before the cake. As everyone gathered around the table, Maya noticed the extra place setting. "Who's that chair for?" she asked innocently. Lily's face brightened. "That's for my friend Tom. He's the nicest man in the whole world. He drives the garbage truck and he comes to see me every Thursday. I invited him to my party and he said he would try to come if he didn't have to work." Maya looked confused. "The garbage man? Is he really your friend?" "Yes," Lily said proudly. "He's one of my very best friends. He always waves at me and asks about my drawings. He knows all about me and I know all about him. He has grandchildren who live far away and he keeps all my pictures in his truck." Mrs. Peterson smiled warmly. "I've seen you talking to Tom, Lily. He seems like a very nice man. I always see him being extra careful with everyone's garbage bins, making sure not to make too much noise in the early morning. As the minutes ticked by, Lily became more and more anxious. She kept looking at the clock on her mother's phone, watching as 2 o'clock came and went. Anna suggested they play another game to keep everyone distracted, but she could see that Lily was struggling to focus. By 2:30, it was clear that Tom wasn't coming. Anna's heart broke as she watched her daughter's face fall. Lily tried to hide her disappointment, but Anna knew her daughter well enough to see through her brave smile. "Maybe he's just running late," Lily said quietly to her mother. "Sometimes there's a lot of traffic, right?" "Maybe, sweetheart," Anna replied, though she knew that if Tom was going to come, he would have been there by now. Anna made the difficult decision to go ahead with cutting the birthday cake. She called everyone to gather around the table, and Lily obediently took her seat next to the empty chair that had been meant for Tom. As Anna lit the 8 candles, she noticed how Lily's eyes kept drifting to that vacant spot. "Make a wish, birthday girl," Anna said softly. Lily closed her eyes tightly, and Anna could guess what her daughter was wishing for. When Lily opened her eyes and blew out all the candles in one breath, everyone cheered and clapped. But the celebration felt incomplete with that empty chair serving as a constant reminder of the missing guest. As they ate cake and opened presents, Lily did her best to be a good hostess. She thanked everyone for their gifts and smiled at the appropriate times. But Anna could see that her daughter's heart wasn't fully in the celebration. The joy that should have filled the day was clouded by disappointment. Maya gave Lily a beautiful set of colored pencils perfect for her artwork. Jessica brought a puzzle with a rainbow design that matched the party theme perfectly. Mrs. Peterson had knitted a small sweater for Lily's stuffed bear, complete with tiny buttons and a pocket. "These are all wonderful," Lily said politely, though her voice lacked its usual enthusiasm. "Thank you so much." As the afternoon wore on and the party began to wind down, Anna found herself feeling angry at Tom for disappointing her daughter. She understood that work obligations were important, but couldn't he have at least called or sent a message? Didn't he realize how much this meant to Lily? But then Anna remembered Tom's genuine kindness over the past months, the way his face lit up when he saw Lily, and how carefully he had treated her invitation. This wasn't like him. If Tom wasn't here, there had to be a good reason. As the guests began to leave, each one thanked Lily for a lovely party. Maya hugged her friend goodbye and promised to play with the new colored pencils together soon. Mrs. Peterson squeezed Lily's hand and told her it was one of the nicest parties she had ever attended. When everyone had gone home, Anna and Lily stood in the backyard looking at the remnants of the celebration. The streamers still fluttered in the breeze. The balloons bobbed cheerfully, and the empty chair sat as a silent reminder of dashed hopes. "Did I do something wrong, Mama?" Lily asked quietly. "Maybe Tom didn't really want to come to my party. Maybe I was being silly to think he would want to spend time with me." Anna knelt down and pulled her daughter into a warm hug. "Oh, sweetheart, you didn't do anything wrong. Tom cares about you very much. I could see it in his eyes when you gave him that invitation. If he didn't come today, it's because something important must have prevented him. Sometimes grown-ups have responsibilities that they can't get out of, even when they really want to." That night, as Anna tucked Lily into bed, her daughter was quieter than usual. The excitement of the morning had faded into a gentle sadness that made Anna's heart ache. "Maybe Tom will explain what happened on Thursday," Lily said hopefully. "Maybe he will," Anna agreed, though she secretly worried that Thursday might bring more disappointment if Tom didn't have a good explanation for his absence. Neither of them could have imagined what was actually waiting for them the very next morning. Sunday morning began like any other quiet weekend day in Oak Valley. The sun was just starting to peek through Lily's bedroom curtains when she slowly opened her eyes. For a moment, she felt the familiar excitement of a new day. But then the memories of yesterday came flooding back. Her 8th birthday party, the empty chair, Tom's absence. The disappointment settled in her chest like a heavy stone. Anna was already awake in the kitchen, making coffee and thinking about her daughter. She had barely slept, worrying about how to help Lily understand that sometimes even the nicest people can't keep their promises due to circumstances beyond their control. She planned to have a gentle conversation with Lily about managing expectations and finding joy, even when things don't go exactly as planned. At exactly 8:30 in the morning, an unusual sound broke the peaceful Sunday silence. It started as a low rumble, similar to the Thursday morning garbage truck, but somehow different. Deeper, louder, and instead of fading away as it passed by, the sound seemed to be getting closer and staying longer. Lily stirred in her bed, confused by the noise. It wasn't Thursday, so why did she hear trucks? She sat up, rubbing her sleepy eyes, trying to make sense of what she was hearing. The sound wasn't just one truck, it sounded like several vehicles, all rumbling at the same time. Curiosity overcame her sleepiness, and Lily climbed out of bed, padding across her room to the window. What she saw made her think she was still dreaming. She blinked hard, rubbed her eyes again, and looked once more. But the incredible sight was still there. Parked outside her house were not one, not two, but 4 large garbage trucks. They were lined up along the street like a parade of blue and white vehicles, their engines still running, creating the symphony of sounds that had woken her up. But that wasn't the most amazing part. Standing beside the trucks were 5 men in work uniforms, and right in the center of the group was Tom. He was holding something in his hands. It looked like a wrapped present, and he was wearing what appeared to be a party hat. In fact, all the men were wearing colorful party hats that looked almost comical on their serious, weathered faces. Lily's heart began to race with excitement and disbelief. She pressed her face against the window, trying to make sure she wasn't imagining this incredible scene. Tom looked up and saw her in the window, and his face broke into the biggest smile she had ever seen. He waved enthusiastically, and all the other men turned to look up at her window and waved too. "Mama! Mama!" Lily called, her voice high with excitement as she ran from her room. "You have to come see. Tom is here, and he brought friends, and there are trucks everywhere." Anna rushed from the kitchen, coffee mug still in her hand, thinking that perhaps Lily was confused or still half asleep. But when she looked out the living room window, she gasped in amazement. The sight was so unexpected, so wonderful that she felt tears spring to her eyes. Tom and his crew members were now walking toward their front door, still wearing their party hats and carrying wrapped presents. Anna could see neighbors starting to come out of their houses, drawn by the unusual sight of multiple garbage trucks parked on their quiet residential street. The doorbell rang, and Lily practically flew to answer it with Anna close behind. "Wendy." They opened the door. Tom stood there with his hat slightly crooked and a sheepish but joyful expression on his face. "Happy belated birthday, Lily," he said warmly. "I'm sorry I missed your party yesterday. I have a lot of explaining to do and a lot of making up to do." Behind Tom stood 4 other men, all looking a bit nervous but smiling kindly. They ranged in age from a young man who couldn't have been much older than 20 to a gray-haired gentleman who appeared to be near retirement. Each one held a wrapped gift, and their party hats were in various bright colors: red, yellow, green, and purple. "Tom," Lily exclaimed, throwing her arms around his waist in a tight hug. "I thought you forgot about me. I thought maybe you didn't want to come to my party." Tom knelt down to Lily's level, his eyes serious and kind. "Lily, I could never forget about you. You're one of the most important people in my life. Yesterday I got called in for an emergency route at the last minute. There was a big accident that blocked several streets, and they needed extra crews to handle the cleanup. I couldn't say no because it was a safety issue for the whole city." He paused, his voice becoming more emotional. "But I couldn't stop thinking about your party all day. I kept imagining you looking for me, waiting for me to show up. It broke my heart to think that I had let you down." One of the younger men stepped forward. "That's when Tom told us all about you and your friendship. He showed us the beautiful invitation you made for him. We could see how much this meant to him and how much you meant to him." Another crew member, the older gentleman with gray hair, spoke up. "We decided that if Tom couldn't make it to your birthday party, then we'd bring the party to you. We all used our own time and our own money to put this together." Anna felt overwhelmed by the kindness of these men who had gone so far out of their way for her daughter. "This is incredibly thoughtful," she managed to say, "but you really didn't have to do all this." Tom smiled at Anna, then looked back at Lily. Yes, we did. When someone as special as Lily invites you to her birthday party, you don't just say, "Sorry, I missed it." You find a way to make it right. The youngest crew member, who had been quiet until now, stepped forward with a grin. Besides, Tom showed us all your artwork that he keeps in his truck. We've been hearing stories about you for months. We felt like we already knew you. Lily looked up at all these kind men with wonder. You all came just for me? We sure did, said another crew member. And we brought some pretty cool stuff to show you if you're interested. Tom gestured toward the trucks lined up in the street. Would you like to see how garbage trucks really work? We thought maybe you'd like to sit in the driver's seat, learn about the hydraulic systems, maybe even help us demonstrate how everything operates. Lily's eyes grew wide with excitement. This was beyond anything she could have imagined. Not only had Tom remembered her birthday, but he had brought his entire crew to give her a personal demonstration of the truck she loved watching every Thursday. Can I really sit in the driver's seat? She asked in amazement. You can do more than that, Tom said with a wink. We brought you something very special. One of the crew members walked back to the trucks and returned carrying a large wrapped box. It was clearly heavy, and Lily couldn't imagine what could be inside. This is from all of us, Tom explained as they set the box down in front of Lily. We wanted to give you something that would help you remember this day, and remember that you have friends who care about you. With Anna's help, Lily carefully unwrapped the large box. Inside, nestled in protective padding, was the most beautiful toy garbage truck she had ever seen. But this wasn't just any toy truck. It was a detailed replica of the city's actual garbage trucks, complete with working parts and realistic details. On the side of the truck, painted in bright, colorful letters, was Lily, along with a small, rainbow design that matched the theme of her birthday party. We had this custom made for you, Tom explained. It's an exact replica of our trucks, but sized just for you. The back lifts up and down, just like the real ones. Lily was speechless. She ran her small hands over the beautiful truck, tracing the letters of her name with her finger. Finally, she looked up at Tom and his friends with tears of joy in her eyes. This is the best present anyone has ever given me, she whispered. But the surprises weren't over yet. Tom reached into his pocket and pulled out something else, a small official-looking badge. And this, he said, pinning the badge gently onto Lily's pajama shirt, makes you an honorary member of our sanitation crew. You're now officially Lily Wilson, honorary sanitation worker. The badge sparkled in the morning sunlight, and Lily looked down at it with pride. Does this mean I'm part of your team now? She asked. You've always been part of our team, Tom replied with a warm smile. Now you just have the badge to prove it. What happened next was something that no one in Oak Valley would ever forget. Word of the incredible scene on Maple Street spread faster than anyone could have imagined. Neighbors who had heard the unusual sounds of multiple trucks began stepping out of their houses, curious about what was happening on their normally quiet Sunday morning. Mrs. Peterson from next door was the first to venture over, still wearing her gardening gloves and carrying a small watering can. When she saw Lily standing proudly next to the lineup of garbage trucks wearing her new honorary badge and beaming with joy, her face lit up with understanding. Well, would you look at that? She said with a warm smile. Lily, it seems you have some very special friends. Soon, other neighbors began to gather. The Martinez family from across the street came over with their twin boys, who were absolutely fascinated by the sight of 4 garbage trucks parked in a row. The Johnson family from 2 houses down brought their teenage daughter, who immediately began taking pictures with her phone. Tom and his crew, who had initially been a bit nervous about causing a disturbance in the neighborhood, quickly realized that their presence was bringing the entire community together in the most wonderful way. Children who had never shown any interest in garbage trucks were now asking excited questions about how everything worked. Can we really see inside the trucks? Asked one of the Martinez twins, his eyes wide with wonder. Absolutely, replied Jake, the youngest member of Tom's crew. But first, let's let the birthday girl have her turn. This is Lily's special day. Tom helped Lily climb up into the driver's seat of his truck, carefully lifting her so she could reach the high cab. From her perch behind the steering wheel, Lily felt like she was on top of the world. She could see her entire neighborhood spread out below her, and everything looked different from this new perspective. "How does it feel to be a truck driver?" Tom asked, climbing up beside her. "It feels amazing," Lily exclaimed, her hands gripping the large steering wheel. "Is this what you see every day when you drive around?" "This and much more," Tom replied. "From up here you get to see people starting their day, children waiting for school buses, neighbors helping each other. It's actually a pretty good view of life." Anna watched from below, her heart swelling with gratitude for these kind men, who had turned her daughter's disappointment into pure joy. She had pulled out her own phone to capture some pictures, knowing that Lily would want to remember every detail of this extraordinary morning. One by one, Tom and his crew demonstrated different features of the trucks for the growing crowd of neighbors. They showed how the hydraulic lift worked, how the compacting system operated, and how they used safety equipment. Each truck was slightly different, and the crew members took turns explaining their specific features. Robert, the gray-haired crew member who was nearing retirement, had brought along some educational materials about recycling and waste management. He spread them out on a small table they had set up and began teaching the children about the importance of properly sorting their garbage and recycling. "You see," Robert explained to the group of fascinated kids, "when you put the right things in the right bins, it helps us do our job better, and it helps take care of our planet too." The children listened intently, asking questions about what could be recycled and what couldn't. Some of them admitted they had never really thought about what happened to their trash after it was picked up. Meanwhile, Mike, another crew member, was showing the older kids and adults the safety features of the trucks. He explained how the vehicles were designed to protect both the workers and the people in the neighborhood, and how much training was required to operate them safely. "Being a sanitation worker isn't just about picking up trash," Mike explained. "We're trained in safety procedures, equipment maintenance, customer service, and even basic first aid. We're often the first people to notice if something is wrong in a neighborhood." As the demonstration continued, Lily moved from truck to truck, getting to experience each one with the help of her new friends. In the second truck, she learned how to operate the controls that lifted and emptied the garbage bins. In the third truck, she discovered the communication system that the crew used to stay in contact with each other and their supervisors. But it was the fourth truck that held the biggest surprise of all. Tom had saved it for last, and when he opened the back compartment, Lily gasped in amazement. Inside was a complete birthday party setup, a small table, chairs, party decorations, and even a beautiful cake decorated with a miniature garbage truck. "We thought you might like to have a proper birthday party," Tom explained, "one where all your friends could join you." The crew quickly set up the party area right there on the sidewalk, creating an impromptu celebration that included not just Lily, but all the neighborhood children who had gathered to watch the demonstration. Anna hurried inside to get plates and napkins, overwhelmed by the thoughtfulness of these men who had planned every detail. As they sat around the small table eating cake and sharing stories, Lily felt happier than she ever had in her entire 8 years of life. This wasn't just a birthday party. It was a magical experience that had brought together her whole community. Maya, her best friend from school, arrived with her parents just as they were serving the cake. She had heard from other neighbors about what was happening and had begged her parents to bring her over to see. "Lily, this is incredible," Maya exclaimed. "You have the coolest friends ever." Throughout the celebration, neighbors continued to stop by. Some brought additional snacks to share, others offered drinks, and a few elderly residents brought lawn chairs so they could sit comfortably and enjoy the festivities. What had started as a surprise for one little girl had become a neighborhood block party. Anna found herself in conversation with the other parents, learning more about Tom and his crew. She discovered that this wasn't the first time they had gone out of their way to help someone in the community. They had helped elderly residents with heavy items, returned lost pets to their families, and even assisted during emergency situations. "These men are heroes," said Mrs. Rodriguez, whose family lived at the end of the street. "Last winter, when my husband slipped on the ice and hurt his back, Tom and his crew helped me get him to the car so I could take him to the hospital. They didn't have to do that, but they saw someone who needed help. As the afternoon progressed, the story of Lily's incredible birthday surprise began to spread beyond the immediate neighborhood. Several people had shared photos and videos on social media, and the heartwarming story was beginning to capture attention from people all over the city. A local news reporter, who had heard about the story through social media, arrived with a camera crew. At first, Tom and his colleagues were hesitant about the attention, but Lily was so excited to share her story that they agreed to a brief interview. "This little girl invited me to her birthday party," Tom explained to the reporter, his arm around Lily's shoulders. "When work prevented me from attending, my crew and I decided we needed to make it right. Lily deserves to know that her friendship means something, that people care about her." When the reporter asked Lily how she felt about her surprise party, she looked directly into the camera with confidence beyond her 8 years. "Tom and his friends are the best people in the whole world," she said seriously. "They taught me that real friends don't give up on you even when things go wrong. And they showed me that there are heroes everywhere, even driving garbage trucks." As the sun began to set and the wonderful day came to an end, the trucks were finally loaded up and prepared to leave. But before they departed, Tom had one final surprise for Lily. "We want you to keep this," he said, handing her a small radio. "It's set to our crew's frequency. Every Thursday morning, when we're working your route, you can listen in and hear us talking about our day. You'll always be connected to your friends." The goodbye was emotional, with hugs all around and promises to continue their Thursday morning tradition. As the trucks pulled away from Maple Street, the entire neighborhood waved goodbye, and Lily held her new radio close to her heart. That night, as Anna tucked Lily into bed, her daughter was still glowing with happiness. "Mama, this was the best birthday ever," Lily said sleepily. "I learned that when people really care about you, they find a way to show it. And I learned that heroes don't always wear capes." The story of Lily's birthday surprise continued to spread in the days and weeks that followed, inspiring other communities and reminding people everywhere about the power of kindness and friendship. But for Lily, the most important lesson was simpler than that. She had learned that real friendship knows no boundaries, that kindness can come from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the most ordinary people can create the most extraordinary moments. From that day forward, every Thursday morning radio check-in with Tom and his crew reminded her that she was loved, valued, and part of something special. And in a world that often felt complicated and difficult, that simple truth was the greatest gift of all.